Tonight on Cronkite News, gun prevention advocacy groups gather at the Capitol. We'll tell you more about what they're demanding from lawmakers.
Plus, how a controversial executive order could impact several local organizations that provide assistance for migrants.
And see the results play out in all the action you missed in Scottsdale for the 2025 WM Phoenix Open. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Matt Ross.
And I'm Leah Phillips. Thank you for joining us. Lawmakers at the Capitol have introduced a number of bills dealing with guns and gun rights. One Republican-sponsored bill would repeal a ban on certain weapons.
And a bill introduced by Democrats would increase penalties for certain gun possession. Charlie Vicario is at the Capitol, where one group of concerned citizens came to voice their support for some legislation.
Dozens of activists, some gun violence survivors, gathered here this morning, educating the public, lobbying lawmakers, and they even held their own press conference to push for what they call common sense gun reform. Attendees wore shirts showing their affiliation, some parents, some students, all with the same hope to get gun reform bills heard at the Capitol. Data from the Arizona Department of Health Services states 75% of firearm injury deaths occurred in children ages 15 to 17. Parents of 15-year-old Christian Patillo, who was unintentionally killed after being shot at a sleepover, shared their story.
We are here to save lives, and we do not want any other children or families to suffer the fate that Christian faced. We are here for the public support, and we want responsible gun owners to stand up and support us.
The Patillos are supporting Christian's law, which would increase penalties for adults who failed to properly secure firearm from a minor. At the Capitol, Charlie Vicario, Cronkite News.
President Donald Trump ordered the Treasury Department to stop producing pennies. The president made the announcement on Sunday and said it would help reduce unnecessary government spending. It is still unclear whether the president has the power to do this. According to the U.S. Mint, Congress is the one that authorizes the manufacture of the nation's coins. However, it has become more expensive to make pennies. Last year, the Mint reported that the cost of 3.5 cents to produce and distribute just 1 penny. The climbing costs are due to the rising cost of metals, including zinc and copper.
And President Trump has also announced a new round of tariffs on international goods. Today, he says he plans to target steel and aluminum imports. CNN reporter Amy Kiley has more on the potential impact of those new tariffs.
This escalation is not going to be helpful.
President Donald Trump says he's announcing a number of new tariffs this week, starting today.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum, too.
Canada produces about a quarter of U.S. steel imports. Mexico supplies about half that. Analysts say the upside of the tariffs is they might help domestic producers. U.S. Steel Corporation is struggling so much it unsuccessfully tried to sell itself to a Japanese company last month. Some economists say the downside of tariffs could be higher prices for Americans. They point to other duties on metals that Trump imposed in his first term.
It was sort of a situation where an eye for an eye left everybody blind.
Also today, new Chinese tariffs on some U.S. goods begin. They're 15% for certain types of coal and liquefied natural gas, and 10% for crude oil, certain vehicles, and farm equipment. China says, quote, trade and tariff wars have no winners. But it says it's responding to Trump's new tariff on Chinese products. Those force American businesses to pay 10% extra as a kind of tax on Chinese imports over $800. Many economists say that could be inflationary.
When you're dealing with the Chinese government, you really are looking to try to find a way that nobody really looks bad.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And the Trump administration has also ordered the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to effectively shut down, stopping its investigative work. The agency was created after the 2008 financial crisis.
President Donald Trump signed executive orders suspending decisions on refugee status applications. Cronkite News reporter Nicole Macias-Garibay explains how this measure is affecting organizations assisting migrants in Arizona.
Phone calls to the Welcome to America project signal the arrival of donations. Bags of clothes, shoes, and toys are delivered for volunteers to sort through. These items will help refugees and asylum seekers in Arizona begin a new life.
Something that I think we've recognized with our community is they really stand in solidarity, and they show up and they make sure that every refugee receives the kind of needs that they are looking for.
After the president signed the executive order titled Realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program, the U.S. government suspended the processing of all refugee applications under this program. In a press release, the PEMA administrator announced that 2 respite centers located in the county receiving migrants closed at midnight January 26. The Welcome to America project, which doesn't receive federal funding, continues to support the migrant community, despite the decline on the immigrant influx, relying on volunteers and private donations.
And if I can help someone who's just recently moved from a different country, and just help them feel just a sense of like solidarity and like that we're here to help them and we want to help them and we want them here.
A 37-year-old Afghan man states that he was compelled to leave his country due to the situation in Afghanistan. To protect his identity, we're not using his name.
Flee my home, leave everything behind, come out with a backpack of clothes and my personal belongings. And
this Afghan migrant has applied for political asylum and is currently awaiting approval.
we should also be very clear and remind ourselves constantly that this country was built by migrants.
In Tempe, Nicole Macias Garibay, Cronkite News.
Centers like the Welcome to America project proved to be essential for migrants to receive support during these uncertain times.
And here in the Valley, consumers have been feeling the effects of the avian flu. According to the USDA, more than 40 million laying chickens have been euthanized. The lack of eggs is what leads to the rising prices, and retailers throughout the U.S. are figuring out how to deal with the shortage. Stories like Kroger and Trader Joe's have placed a limit for consumers. Restaurants are also being impacted by the shortage. Waffle House added a 50-cent price hike for all meals that include eggs, and we won't be seeing a decrease in prices anytime soon. According to the Agriculture Department, the cost of eggs will increase 20% before the end of this year.
Coming up next, everyone is still talking about yesterday's blowout game.
That's right, and they're also talking about Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance. The show had some political undertones, which some people loved and others, well, not so much. We'll take a closer look at the varying opinions next.
Plus, it looks like Phoenix might be getting a little rain soon. I'm Mahir Hassan, and I'll have your full weather forecast after the break.
I grew up in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Sports and politics are often perceived as separate fields, but in this Super Bowl, both areas intersected, resulting in a significant reaction from the public. Here's what residents of Phoenix think about this combination.
I think sports is leave it the way it is, and then political just gets messy.
You can't just shut up and dribble. You know, we're all human beings, so like you got to be able to express yourself and what you believe in.
Kendrick Lamar's halftime show is causing mixed reactions when it comes to combining sports with politics.
He's got his freedom of speech at the end of the day, and if he wants to sprinkle that into his performance, I have no problem with that.
A right Lamar did not shy away from in his performance, even with President Trump in attendance, making it the first time a sitting president has ever attended a Super Bowl.
I think whether you're a player or an artist performing, I think it's always good to use your platform.
Furthering the question, should artists and athletes be expected to use their platform to express their political beliefs?
I would definitely prefer that they do so rather than not do so, even if I don't agree with it.
While others say, leave the politics to the politicians.
So just let football be football.
Lamar also striking a chord with viewers after his highly anticipated performance of his Grammy Award-winning track, Not Like Us.
I was kind of surprised about or shocked to see was some of the lyrics that he said during the song.
I've seen him live before, and it just felt like he didn't do as good of a job as he's done at other points.
And no matter what, the show left people with something to say.
The fact that they let him do it, I thought was very interesting.
And these year's ratings haven't yet been released, but last year set a record 120 million people tuning in for that big game.
"22 attorneys general, including Arizona's Attorney General Chris Mays, have sued the Trump administration, the Department of Health, Human Services, and the National Institutes of Health. They claim that all three have illegally cut funds for medical and public health research in universities and institutions across the country. Universities and research facilities are scrambling to fill these unforeseen budget caps that covered life-saving and life-extending clinical trials. Attorney General Mays claims that the funding is legally owed to the Arizonans and that by defunding medical research, there will be disastrous consequences for innovation and progress.
Working from home now comes with a price, and some people are willing to pay it. According to a new study conducted by Harvard students, 40% of people are willing to take a pay cut of up to 5% just in order to work from home. The survey also found that women were more likely than men to take up to a 20% salary decrease. Workers who were 50 years old and had traditionally in-person careers held the least value of working from home.
Back in the valley, stormy skies are on the horizon.
And according to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, we could be seeing the rainiest storm since last summer. Mihir Sinhasan joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect later this week.
Thanks, Leah. Happy Monday to you all. We'll get to the storms coming up in a little while. It's been some interesting weather, but it has been warm overall, starting off at 75, and it's going to dip down into 65. You can also see in this circle, no clouds on the horizon, so no storms tonight, but it's going to be coming up sometime soon. More on that later, though, as we take a look at the low temperatures. Window Rock 15, Grand Canyon at 12, Flagstaff at 18. Your three cities that will be below 20 back here in the valley, it's going to be 47. As we take a look at your high temperatures on Tuesday, very mild across state, 48, Holbrook 60, Phoenix 71, Yuma 70, and the city that's going to have the hottest high temperature on Tuesday, Tucson, over here at 72. As we take a look at your futurecast, this is what it looks like right now. A little bit of cloud coverage just east of Phoenix going into the northeast part of the state. After that, it's going to funnel out. There will be a new system coming in on Tuesday right around 9 o'clock. You can see the coverage in Phoenix, but more importantly, especially in this high country, you're going to see a lot of cloud coverage. After that, though, it's going to funnel out and it will be a sunny afternoon, no matter where you might be in the valley. As we take a look at your 8-day forecast, a chance for rain on Thursday at 69 degrees, and that's going to increase as we head into the weekend. A 60% chance of rain on Friday. That's Valentine's Day, so be sure to take a raincoat if you're going out that day. Sunday and Monday, a chance for cloud coverage as well. And then sunny on Sunday, or Saturday, I should say, and Tuesday. That's it for the Cronkite News Weather Report. I'm Mihir Sinhasan. Back to you.
Thanks, Mihir. Coming up next, we take a look back at some of the most diehard fans at the WM Phoenix Open.
That's right, Matt. These fans got to the Phoenix Open well before sunrise just to get their spot in line for a seat at the 16th hole. Golf fans dressed up in the most creative and outrageous costumes as the party got started early in Scottsdale.
in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Good evening, I'm Max Cepeda, breaking down all the top sports stories over the weekend, starting with a chance to make history. Super Bowl 59 was played in the Big Easy last night, and with a three-peat chance on the line for Kansas City, it was the Eagles who ended up playing spoiler. Philadelphia got revenge over Kansas City from Super Bowl 57 as the Eagles dominated Super Bowl 59 from start to finish, putting up 34 consecutive points before the Chiefs had any answer. Jalen Hurts won Super Bowl MVP, and Patrick Mahomes was constantly under pressure, getting sacked 6 times and throwing 2 interceptions. But it's safe to say that yesterday's game was all fly Eagles fly, as Philadelphia, captured their second Super Bowl victory in franchise history. Meanwhile, the WM Phoenix Open wrapped up at TPC Scottsdale on Sunday afternoon, and in contrast to last year's memorable playoff, it was a runaway finish for the PGA Tour's newest winner. Our broadcast reporter Ben Paris was out in Scottsdale for the final round.
When Thomas Dietrich woke up before the final round of the WM Phoenix Open on Sunday morning with a 5-shot lead to his name, he said he had to meditate in order to calm his mind. And it was that calm mind that prevailed here at TPC Scottsdale as Dietrich captured his first ever victory on the PGA Tour while becoming the tour's first ever winner from the country of Belgium.
Incredible. You know, I felt nervous yesterday morning and kind of last night didn't sleep great. You know, I woke up this morning early, 4 a.m., couldn't fall back asleep. You know, I felt like I was kind of ready to win. So deep inside, I was kind of, this one, nobody was going to take it away from me.
Dietrich entered the final round with his first solo 54-hole lead in his career by 5 shots nonetheless, and when his lead shrunk to just 2 shots on the 15th green after playing competitor Daniel Berger made a birdie, the 32-year-old relied on his immense self-trust from within and made birdies of his own on each of the final 4 holes to finish at 24 under par, the lowest total score at the People's Open in 12 years. When he nearly aced the par 3 16th hole, finishing his shot a mere 16 inches away from the hole, he knew it would be his day to lift the trophy on the 18th green.
So I was thinking, oh, just take it easy, don't bounce too hard, and I didn't realize it went that close, to be honest, but it was just probably one of the best shots I've ever hit, to be honest.
For the Belgian, who often says he gets confused by fans as German, Dietrich leaves TPC Scottsdale with new recognition and confidence, a similar way Scotty Scheffler did just 3 years ago.
You know, it's quite nice that people hopefully will start putting a face on my name, then hopefully get my name going. You know, it's good for my brand. It's cool. You know, I love it here. It's great. The PGA Tour is great, and I hope I can broaden my fan base.
Reporting at the WM Phoenix Open, Ben Paris, Cronkite News.
Thanks so much, Ben. Dietrich becomes the second consecutive international winner of the WM Phoenix Open, as Dietrich's win awarded him $1.7 million approximately. An exciting weekend for sure for Thomas Dietrich. And speaking of excitement, so is the annual early morning run to the 16th hole. And our Cronkite reporter Quentin Presley was in the midst of the Scottsdale sunrise to check out the madness.
Let's go, baby!
How long have you been waiting in this line?
Give or take about an hour and a half. I've been waiting in line for like at least an hour. You know what I mean? Not bad, not bad.
Pretty good. Doing good. We've been here since 12:30 a.m.
We're up in the rankings for coolest dressed here in the line. We have some competition. I got to tell you, we got some party animals and we have a group of minions. Where do you guys feel you guys are in the rankings?
Retire my number. Retire it. Put it up. How much potassium do they have?
0.
None.
Honestly, nice hair, nice shoes, short skirts.
So with you at the head of the snake, what is the game plan of having the best day possible here at the WM Phoenix Open?
First, this guy's going to lead a charge through the group here when we start running. And so is this guy. They're kind of clearing our path all the way there.
Morning, WM Phoenix Open. They're heading to the 16th hole. Let them go.
Truly some inciting characters there for sure. But on to Sun Devil Athletics. Sun Devil Hockey had an exciting series at Mullet Arena over the weekend in front of a sold-out crowd over both nights as they took on the number 6 ranked Denver Pioneers, with both games going into overtime in a tight back-and-forth series. On Friday, the Sun Devils were able to tie up the game with less than a minute remaining, but Denver took Game 1 narrowly 5-4. But on Saturday night, however, it was the Sun Devils' night, as ASU scored 3 goals in the final period to force another overtime. And junior Bennett Shimmick broke through 3 Pioneer defenders to score the overtime goal, leading the Sun Devils to victory. And season struggles for Bobby Hurley and his Arizona State men's basketball team continue as they fell short to the Oklahoma State Cowboys in Stillwater on Saturday. The Sun Devils were shorthanded after losing senior guards Adam Miller and B.J. Freeman to suspensions. And the Cowboys took the lead early against the Sun Devils and kept their momentum, being up by 10 points by the end of the half. And the Cowboys continued to punish the Sun Devils offensively in the second half, winning 86-73. And the Sun Devils have now lost 4 of their last 5 games, putting them second to last in the Big 12 Conference with a 3-9 record and even 12-12 overall. And their next game won't be any easier as they head to Lubbock on Wednesday to take on a Texas Tech Red Raider team that is 3rd in the conference. And meanwhile, the Arizona Wildcats on the women's side earned another Territorial Cup victory against the Sun Devils on Saturday afternoon at the McKell Center in Tucson. Despite a strong showing by Sun Devil graduate Ty Skinner and junior Jalen Brown, it wasn't enough to keep up with the Wildcats' offense. And the Sun Devils did get within a possession going into the fourth quarter, but couldn't keep up, falling to the Wildcats 66-59, leaving Sun Devils coach Natasha Adair searching for answers.
I mean, it's desperate. I mean, we need to win bad, and I think we talked about it as a team. We need that fourth quarter effort and intensity in the first quarter. And I thought we had that for the most part, right? But still, 15-9 is not it, right?
Now, the Sun Devils have lost 9 of their last 10 games and have an abysmal 2-10 record in the conference and 8-16 overall, placing them 3rd to last in the Big 12. And their next matchup is against the UCF Knights in Orlando on Wednesday. And finally, the Arizona Diamondbacks introduced first baseman Josh Naylor today as the D-backs acquired Naylor from the Cleveland Guardians just one day after longtime Arizona first baseman Christian Walker signed with the Houston Astros. The D-backs held a press conference at their spring training facility, Salt River Fields in Scottsdale, as Arizona is hoping to get plenty of production from Naylor this season, as the first baseman tallied 31 home runs and 108 RBIs last season in Northeast Ohio. That's all for Cronkite Sports. I'm Max Cepeda. Now back to Matt and Leah at the desk.
Thanks, Max. Coming up next, the late Pablo Picasso died more than 50 years ago.
But he's still managing to stun the art world. After the break, we'll tell you about a secret uncovered in one of his paintings when we return.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School.
Decades after his passing, Picasso has once again wowed scholars and fans alike.
And our institute in London has uncovered what was once thought to be a lost piece of art history. While studying Picasso's portrait of a sculptor, art historians found a mysterious woman underneath the original painting. The mysterious woman was found by art historians who were using both infrared and X-ray imaging. It's not clear who the woman is, but it could be one of the several French women Picasso was painting at the time.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Matt Ross.
And I'm Leah Phillips. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.